G'day, what's up, folks? Welcome to Tabletop Nights. I'm Greg. This is the beautiful Victor. And tonight we've got another smashing episode of all things board games, card games, a few surprises along the way as well.
It's going to be jam-packed action.
Yeah. So we're still trying to figure out what we're going to talk about, but that's okay.
No, we got a few things in mind. You guys help us with most of the topics with your comments. So again, if you're new to us, make sure you subscribe. Our Facebook, quiet, tumbleweed worthy.
Yeah, but now that we've got some content going on there, maybe there's something worth having a look at.
Exactly. So we've just created it. So if you type in The Tabletop Nights, or even probably just Tabletop Nights in the Facebook search bar, you'll find us. Links are obviously in the description if you want to click away. Also at TTK Team on Twitter, we plan to do some more like polls, and we're using social media more now anyway. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to smash like on this channel.
We do get a lot of likes on these podcasts. It
do.
is so appreciated. And to everyone who comments, like, how good does it feel when you reply to a comment?
It's so good.
It is good.
It's like we're your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got regulars now. I've never had a regular ever.
That sounds odd, but anyway.
So actually on the channel today, so we record this a week in advance, so things won't make sense this episode really. But Greg, you released a brand new episode of Red Alert.
I did, because obviously I did the unboxing, and that's got nearly 1,000 views, which is really chuffed about, folks. So
doing really well, that unboxing, for sure.
And obviously it hit a chord because people wanted to have a look. And we did you guys came to my place, you and TJ. We played the game. Took about an hour and a quarter in total.
Yeah, it didn't take as long as I thought. And also just I mean, I know you've heard whispers and, rumors, but his gaming room is just as amazing as you would think. And also the weird part is he has this weird basement that has like a dead area of more board games. It's like,
yeah, well, that's where all the bad ones go.
Yeah.
Now, you guys tell me you haven't played any bad games. Well, I've got a basement full of them. So.
Well, when you've got 700, 800 board games, some of them are bound to be bad, like a little bit.
Well, it's all relative, isn't it? Like, you'll get stuff that you played 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You might pull it out for nostalgia's sake, but you're not going to sit there
That's
and just
fair
play
enough.
it all the time.
People know that you like board games, so, all your friends who don't play board games, family. Have you ever gotten a board game as a gift and you're like, oh, thanks, but one, you might already have it, or two, you'll hate it?
A few times. Because obviously my family know I'm a board game nut, so they'll give me a board game. My sister gave me one called Spicks and Specs, which is a music trivia show here in Australia, based on that Bee Gees song, Spicks and Specs.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those $10 jobs you'd get at Walmart or Kmart over here. And it was just like, oh, thanks. That's awesome. Great. But it was given with love, so we still
that's
play
fair
it.
enough. Yeah.
You're
a better person than I am. Once I was given a denim jacket that had a big sparkly M&M, like the wrapper, and I've been listening to Eminem. And so that was like the photos of 12-year-old me is like, it's really, I wish I could dig those photos up.
Okay. Yeah, I got a Bay City Rollers t-shirt. Was it a matte jacket by chance?
No, it wasn't a matte jacket. Although it was a black jacket, black denim. So not a matte jacket though.
But without the sparkles, it was quite matte in colour.
It could have been a matte jacket.
There you go.
Yeah.
Big shout out to you, Matte Jacket. We love you.
So Red Alert. So look, that game, I watched the unboxing, obviously. I have to proof it, If it's going on the channel, it's going to be proof watch. Now, so I watched that. I was a little intimidated. You're like, come over, we'll play Red Alert, do a recording. Yeah. We get there, it's all set up. Very intimidating. Actually quite a joy. Very easy to play as well. Wasn't difficult to learn. Took about 15 minutes of explanation. There was this reference sheet that... you explained real quick, and I was just like, I ignored it completely. Yeah. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. But we, especially if you want us to play more Red Alert, there's so many extras for that game that we haven't even had a look at yet.
Yeah, we just played the opening salvo scenario, which is really just very basic. But you will see TJ looking at the card all the time, and you'll see Victor just going, oh, I forgot what to do.
I didn't forget, but I was like, I don't need to look at it because I'll just do stuff, and then Greg and TJ will know what to do. And to my credit, it was a last turn win for one person. I won't say who. for one person, and
Yeah.
you know, so it didn't really make too much of a difference.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I think it looks so great on the table. Again, I've got a massive table to fit it on, but there was a few struggles to reach some of the pieces, particularly once they get towards the other side of the table.
It's something you don't think about. So, like when you play a game, you're not constricted to being in front of your microphone.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand in front of your camera. So when you see awkward cuts and stuff, it's because we have no control. Yeah. We can't afford a cameraman for everything. So, you know, we try our best.
Oh, look, I think that works. But sometimes you think, do I want to play a game on camera? Because you are thinking about all that stuff and you go, oh, it's tiring. It actually takes it out of you a little bit more. Whereas you go, could we just sit around and just have a laugh and a beer? And
let me warn you now, as somebody who hasn't. Well, I can't really say if you have or haven't, but as somebody that used to do a gaming channel, it became a real chore to play video games for camera, and it destroyed it. Every time I put the PlayStation or Xbox on, I was like, oh, I should be recording this. Yeah. Get out of that mindset. Like YouTube is third in your life. You got obviously family, work, hobbies, and then YouTube. Don't let it destroy
hobbies,
family,
work.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's probably the same. No, it's not.
No, but honestly, I love the unboxing stuff because that's easy. I'm excited. That's just bang.
Fairly easy to edit the unboxings as well.
Speaking of unboxings,
I'm actually excited for this.
As you will already have seen a week ago in the past, when I haven't already recorded it yet.
So about 5 or 6 days ago, as this video has been uploaded.
This arrived. So what do you think about that?
So that is Hellboy the board game. It classic title.
Which has arrived on the same day as the movie opened in Australia. And I'm just going to take off the bubble wrap so that you can all have a sneak peek. Although you've probably already watched my video and gone, gee, Greg, you're amazing.
And if you haven't, go watch it now because it is crazy.
It is crazy, but I think...
I don't know if it's crazy yet.
I'm not going to open up the whole... No, it is. Remember when I opened that...
Remember when it was faulty? It was missing a piece,
That's fantastic. Oh, there's more bubble wrap.
There's so much bubble wrap.
This is... For those of you listening on podcast, I'll do bubble wrap for you. Hang on.
It's beautiful.
There you go.
Everyone loves that sound.
We'll just edit out.
We should have
2.5 minutes of this.
No. This is all a part of.
Have a look at the size of this box.
It's awesome art as well. It's awesome art.
I see you've seen Hellboy art before, have you?
No. I'm just saying it is like this is the type of box where you would see it in store and go, even if I don't know Hellboy or like him, like it's definitely appealing.
It's amazing.
Sure.
Have a look at it.
Yeah,
and this weighs a good 5 or 6 kilos.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's heavy. Is it coming to normal retail version? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not one of those Kickstarter exclusives.
Yeah.
I've also got the 3D terrain, which I think is dungeon doors and things like that. So I'll be showing those. Sorry, you've probably already seen them on the other video.
Yeah, so definitely go watch it because we definitely want to play this. So we reached a high with our hate videos, and then we've gone a little bit down, which is fine. It happens in the YouTube world as we're experts now. Yeah. So we're hoping Hellboy is a good peak for us. So if you're a Hellboy fan and you subscribe for our unboxing video, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for joining. Speaking of Hellboy, I thought just, it's not board game related, but I thought I would show.
What's that?
So this is Next Men number 21. So this is a comic book. I'm a comic book collector. In its CGCK. So I've never read it before because you can't take it out once it's in here. You can, but
don't they give you a PDF copy or something?
No, they should. So this is actually the first appearance. You probably can't really see it with the glare. First appearance of the red Hellboy.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Yeah, I think he appears in 2 books before this. One where he's grey and one where he's like, colourless. Tinker, stop playing with stuff over there. Just playing with the toy. So I thought I'd show this. This is cool.
That is awesome. Can I have a look?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's worth about what am I selling it for? I've got it on eBay now listed. So if you want to,
because the guy that created it, Mike Mignola, he first did this in 1993. So this is the year it came out.
Yeah. It's a cool looking book.
He's part of the BPRD Hellboy.
I don't know that.
I can't remember what it stands. It's the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense.
I saw it in the trailer.
Yep.
So again, I've never read this book because it's sealed, but I just thought it would be a cool book to own. That's sort of what my collection is. And then what I do is I list it on eBay for more than it's worth, and if it sells, I just buy another one for what it's really worth.
Cool.
So hopefully it sells, and then I'll just buy another one.
Well, look, I've got. You've probably already seen my special intro for my unboxing, which I haven't done yet, but
you already know.
I know what it's going to be, so stay tuned for that. But did you know that his his hand of doom there, which could bring about the end of worlds,
the big fist, yep.
Apparently, it smells like roasted peanuts.
Are you serious?
That according to Wiki. That's
very interesting. You've done all the research for your unboxing video.
I have, because I want to be able to inject some of that in there, because a bit like you, I haven't read it. I remember Ron Perlman in the film, which was just... I love Ron Perlman in just about anything, even in that crappy Alien one. But he's great. So I'm wondering how David Harbour, the guy from...
I think it'll be a good movie. It looks like a good movie. Probably already seen it by the time this comes out. But we'll look, and also just quickly talking about your unboxing, we're really super grateful for all the likes, and to that comment that guy left.
And the one from Matt Jacket, just stop it, just stop it.
No, go view that unboxing now. I'm going to be watching it right now.
Are you going to watch all of it or just half of it, like you normally do?
I'll watch all of it.
Okay.
Although, but the thing is the reason I don't watch all the videos is because, one, I'm lazy.
And
two, it's because I'll see it in person, so I don't want to spoil it. So I'm like I don't like spoiling things.
All right, cool.
For myself.
All right. Look, I think that's enough about Hellboy, but I am super excited to get that cracked open tomorrow, a week ago.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is about recording in the past is
recording in the past.
We're getting weird. A Victor pops up behind me. Anyway, so we went obviously to our comments to look for a question of the week.
Yeah.
Now, normally we come up with one of our own, but because it's the fourth episode?
This is the fourth.
We're running out of ideas.
No, don't say that.
No. We're not running out of ideas. There's plenty of content.
Last week's one was about what games don't we like.
Yeah, we had a few decent
What were the bad games that we've played in the past? And there's a few responses here.
But what was our question for this week? What did you...
So the question for this week is... what draws us to a game? What makes it a good game? So what are the aspects about it? What are the attributes? Is it the number of players or the style?
Yeah.
Whatever you like. So we want you to tell us, and then we'll feed out a bit more of that.
Yeah, so thanks for Matt Jack for that question. He actually asked us, so now we're asking you. For me, like, again, being new to board games, the thing that really drives me is the first and foremost is the art. Right. You know, like I would never buy a game like Splendor because of the art, because it's very basic art. You know, it's better than I could bloody do.
But you wouldn't buy that for the gameplay either.
I like Splendor. I thought it was a good game.
That's okay. That's okay.
The reason I got that is because it's like one of the must-owns apparently. So, but a game like Dice Throne, I back because of the art. It's like, oh, this is good art. Like usually games with that sort of art style, they put a lot of love into the art. That means they put a lot of art into love into the board game itself and the gameplay.
Well, you can tell it's like a world. You know, it's like Gloomhaven. When they do the whole sphere, you go, oh, that's good.
It's interesting.
It's not just a one-off little, I'm going to bang that game out and see who buys it.
And with Dice Throne Season 2, they did release a comic book.
Nice commercial.
Jim Beam.
It's refreshing.
What does the white mean? Does that mean it's sugar-free or something?
No, I think that's... I don't know if it's different
no, it's got sugar in it
or something. No, I've no idea.
So yeah, for me, first thing is art.
So you would judge a book by its cover?
I would judge a board game by its cover.
Okay.
Books, not really.
Because you don't read?
I do read.
Well, you've just told us you haven't read this one.
It's sealed in a protective case.
It's okay. I'm not judging.
No, so art first thing, and then obviously it's really difficult to back a board game with 400 followers, something that's at like 101% funded. It's like, it's obviously not bringing in a large crowd as an amateur to board games. If it's not appealing to the masses, then maybe it won't appeal to me. So that's sort of the next thing. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, I love dice. I love randomness because it all really does stem back to being new into the community. Somebody that hasn't played for a long time, it can be hard to learn games. At least that's what I find. So having a random element means that if I'm struggling with a rule or two, I still have a chance at winning.
A lot of people hate that though.
I like a balance.
Yeah.
where it doesn't always come down to the roll. So like with a Red Alert, for example, it did come really at the end of the day. That game was very luck based, in my opinion. There was a lot of strategy, but really, at the end of the day, it came down who got the rolls in the last 3 or 4 turns, because the person that lost had the game secured, but could not get the rolls to finish the game. So, like for me, that game was very luck based. Early on, lots of strategy. The later it got, it was like, I just have to kill this thing, and I have to make sure I roll a dice correctly.
Well, look, I suppose also, in its defense, though, that was the very basic game.
That's true.
Once you introduce the other elements and the places that you have to sort of hold and maintain, then you sort of got more of a, okay, I need to do some blocking maneuvers and things like that. It doesn't matter if they die, as long as I slow them down long enough that I can get the victory point for holding that point a bit longer than the others. So
absolutely. That's one of the reasons we want you to go right now, if you haven't already, to go watch that video. Gives us an excuse to record more, because it was a fun game. And again, I like dice, so I'm not complaining that it was a lot of luck, but at least the core game for me was a lot of luck. Game like Dice Throne, lots of luck, but there is lots of strategy involved as well. When to use cards. I guess figuring out what your odds of rolling certain combinations are. There's a lot of skill there as well, but the luck often comes my way. So I'm very grateful to Mother Luck.
That will change.
Yeah, for sure. The better I get.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I suppose for me, again, I think I alluded to this in the last episode, was the depending on the genre. So I love something that will have us in stitches, having a great laugh, carrying on. People are pissing themselves around the table. Party game stuff. But I also like that. I like 2-player games as well, where it's just that one-on-one real battle of the wits.
That is good. Yeah, I do like two one-on-one games. When it gets more than 3, 4 people, it can be hard to keep a track. The game time goes from like a manageable hour to like 2-3 hours, because then you got everybody thinking, and it's a pain in the ass when Bill over there is taking his time every damn turn. Frustrating.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I don't like, is that analysis paralysis, they call it.
When you just sit there and go.
Yeah. But that's okay. It depends on if it's a 2-player game, I don't mind, because I can then sit there and just think about what I'm going to do. But look, I'm probably not as big a fan of cooperative games. I prefer something where I can win.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't mind losing, but I think I prefer that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay.
Although, and that probably leads into some of our questions in here too, where I think it's Ira was talking about, I think, for example, Zombicide, that's completely cooperative.
Yeah.
You can play that with 6 players or 1 person.
Yeah,
and the good thing about the cooperative games is obviously you can basically play them solo. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, you can. And that's how I played Gloomhaven for a long time, was by myself. Yeah. It's interesting though, because as a team of people that don't play together often, like you haven't played with Rowan yet. You've met Caleb, you haven't played with him. It's always a good way to build sort of like a friendship, is by playing a co-op game. So it can be really weird beating somebody you don't really know very well in a game where you're versing them. Yeah, so I'd like to, with Tabletop Nights, you'll notice that there's a few co-op games in there to sort of break it up a little bit, because when it's always competitive. Like with me and TJ, for the first 10 dice thrones, I won, and then it caught on, on the YouTube community, like, oh, TJ hasn't won yet, and then it became this whole big deal, like, when's TJ gonna win? So it's good to put some co-op in there, I reckon.
Yeah, look, I don't mind, but I think deep down inside of us, people like to see a winner.
That's true. Yeah.
I think, have you seen that Alone board game?
I haven't.
They're doing a second edition of that, but that's where it's sort of that Dungeon Master one, except that in this one you normally have 5 goodies and 1 baddie, plays like the DM kind of role or the monster role. In that one, it's the other way around. You've got 5 baddies and 1 goodie who's trying to get through the whole thing.
Geez, that's cool.
So it's a complete reverse.
Yeah, those games always scare me a little bit, where there's 1 versus 2 or 3, and they're trying to beat that one player. Those games always intimidate me. Like Tiny Epic Zombies have that mechanic where you can be the zombie against 4 players, and it's like...
It can be fun. Look, there's definitely games. I'm trying to think of a game where I think we really enjoy doing that. It's not coming to mind. But I think my eldest son, Ryan, he will always go, oh, yeah, I'll be the baddie for this one. You might play something like Treasure Island.
Yeah.
So one of you plays, obviously, Long John Silver.
Yeah.
And the rest of the trying to find the treasure. And so again, that's one of the ones where he has to play behind a screen and they're just trying to find the treasure.
That's cool.
And it's physically drawing on this big map. So it's quite a funky thing.
Yeah.
So look, I don't mind that kind. I'd rather do that than let's all sit around, because one of the problems with competitive games is you can get that alpha gamer.
Yeah.
Who just says, do that, you should do that, and you should do that, and you should do that, and then I'll do this when it gets to my turn.
I get like that when they haven't played the game before. You know, like when I was playing with Daisy, you know, we were playing Arkham Horror, you know, and her not playing any board games at all, really, other than like your basics.
But that's helping along more than saying you must do that.
It's true. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, but I do it with Rowan a little bit, to be honest, in Gloomhaven. Again, because he hasn't 100% fully grasped the game yet. I'll be like, and you can only use very normal terms in that game, like I'm going quick, you know, so I'll try to steer him in that sort of direction, but he's using a character that's slow, so it's a bit easier. But I do know what you're saying, that could be off-putting. But
anyway, look, if it's a board game, I'll play it. I'll definitely give it a go.
That's what I was going to say. You're thinking, here the question is, what makes you want to buy a game? If it's for sale for Greg. If it's being sold, he'll buy it. So you got a good chance.
It's probably easier for me to say that, again, the ones I don't like, right? You know, so something like Advanced Squad Leader.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But it's tiny little hexes, tiny little cardboard chits that you move around. They're massive stacks of chits. And it's all about injuries and suppression and the weapons malfunction. And it's incredibly deep. You know, and the binder's like that thick. Like there's 300 pages of rules.
A bit intense, yeah.
But some people love that stuff. They get right into it and they go, that's amazing. I find it too taxing for me. So I'd much rather go something. If it's accessible and I think we can have fun with it, I don't care what it is.
Quick to learn's good. That's one of the things I really appreciate about Red Alert is that it is an easy game to learn. And now that I've got the basics down, it won't be much harder to learn the extra rules.
And kind of the two rules we forgot, they're embedded for next time.
Yeah,
you'll go.
I don't know what they were.
You do know.
Yeah. It cost me the game, or didn't.
Wow. Spoiler alert.
No. It wasn't a spoiler. It cost me the game, or it didn't.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good game though, and it makes me want a bigger table. We'll get there eventually, but then the problem that you said you had is when you're playing the small game, you have to sit on a corner. So if you've got 4 people playing a game, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So look, the good thing will be for my table, you could sit at one end, you're 4 people, and have the cameras. You know, if we're doing
smaller games,
then it works like that.
I guess you can have 2 on the end.
Look, probably next time if I was going to do Red Alert on that table, I'd actually put the cover on. So there's less reaching down into the well. Yeah. It is a bit stretchy.
Good point. They're the things that we learn as we record as well.
The other thing you'll learn from that is you could play just about any other Richard Borg game now that has that same system.
Oh, okay. So it's very similar.
It's the same kind of thing.
When I was watching the first half of the unboxing, you were talking about the similarities, and I was like, oh, okay. So they're all super difficult to learn, but to my surprise, not really.
No, they're not, because their system's the same.
Yeah. So what then? It's perfect. That ties into this question. What's the appeal of getting another Richard board game when they're all the same? Is it just because it's a new skin, or?
For this one, probably is a new skin because we haven't had the space one. It's either been World War One, World War Two,
that'd be cool,
or Ancients.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that sort of Hannibal, and his elephants and those kinds of things. So I think for me, it actually harkens back to Battle Cry, which was the first one of his I got, which is a Civil War game. And it was something I could play with a friend that was straightforward, but it had a little bit of depth.
Okay.
So it's rated as medium light on BGG, which means it's accessible. But then as you add in the next scenario, you start adding in terrain, you start adding in meteors, you start adding in whatever.
Yeah. Then
the depth comes from it. And you get into some of those more meteor ones where you've got to hold positions and things like that. So it's pretty good.
Because that's one thing we do see in the board game community, and I guess really they're one of the first ones to do it. You know, you see it in the video game community where they're always doing the remasters, and I guess that's what the second editions are. And you've got the Arkham games where they're constantly bringing out a new edition and they're changing it on the go. That's obviously one appeal to me, is playing the third edition. It's like, oh wow, I'm skipping all the bullshit, like all the bits where there was a board game you're talking about. I think it was you was talking about it, and there was physically you could get trapped in the game and not win. It was that game where you're in the mansion and you build the corridors as you go.
So that was Betrayal.
Yes,
at House on Hill. The original one. You could actually get trapped, and okay, we start again. Yeah. So they fix things like that.
So that's an appeal for me. It's like, okay, it's the 3rd edition. It's obviously good enough to get to the 3rd edition. That means it's a good game. Means that the rules are going to be nice and ironed out. That's something that I look for my personal stuff, like Arkham Horror. I do want to play it for the channel, but at the end of the day, I bought it for me to play on the side. As we were talking about before, you got to keep it a little bit separate. So the
less we have to buy though, and not play if they're crap, the better.
Exactly. So that's a good thing about Board Game Geek is that you can go have a look. Yeah. What does the community think? Should we read some questions?
Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah.
Guest to read. Well, that'll be me.
This is my show. Well, we never know whether it's going to be Caleb, TJ.
That's true. We
Tinker. We don't know who's going to be sitting here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll read it.
Yeah,
great.
Okay,
man, it's intense reading questions.
Yeah.
I know why you gave it to me because the last name's hard to.
What? Esh.
This
is a new subscriber, Ira Esh. We love you.
Thanks
for joining.
So one of the first people to leave a comment on this video, actually, our last podcast. So what was the question that we asked? What games you hate?
Our previous podcast.
Our previous one.
Never say our last podcast.
Yeah, our previous one.
Don't say that.
So I think we asked what board game do you dislike the most or have you hated?
Because I mentioned a couple that I said, or you felt like you had to play it with someone or you didn't really like doing it. You just do it because it's there.
Yeah. All right. So they say, great video, guys. Definitely love the chill podcast. It's not the first time we've heard about the chilledness, so that's good. Hopefully
do other people do tense ones?
Yeah. I don't know.
Look at this comic book!
Women's rights!
Yeah!
I don't know. Maybe they talk about weird topics that make it a bit intense.
Did you just alienate our two women
No.
Okay,
I'm talking about women rights in board game world. I'd love to see more plays of hate, so a hate fan.
We're getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of love for hate.
I want to play it again. I think about it. It's on my floor.
Look, I gave you that whole terrain box to play with, and you've done nothing.
We've been,
You've
busy.
done
nothing. No. It's definitely going to happen. It'll definitely happen. We're just trying to figure it out.
Because you had that on the hill, King of the Hill one or something.
Now it's my turn to attack.
Because I want to see it get to the big finale. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's a long time away. So we'll get there, 100%.
Okay,
I want to play more hate. I mean, I didn't spend all that money for nothing. So, and it was a fun game. Anyway, so I want to see more plays of hate. It looked awesome. So obviously, you haven't played hate. Keep up the good work. And then they also made another comment. So I linked them, or you linked them together, just like I think they made 2 comments, and you've done the same thing.
Yeah, I just put them together because it was easier.
Yeah. Oh man, great question. So in regards to our worst board game, I bought Zombicide Green Horde last year. The game looks awesome, but I must be playing it wrong because I can't do anything in that game. I have some issues with the balance as well as with the combat mechanics. I just can't ever seem to kill anything. That definitely makes for a poor gaming experience.
I agree. It makes for a difficult or poor experience. But Ira, you are playing it wrong. There you go.
Well, that's something I was talking about before.
And that's interesting. I actually did a comment back on that
Absolutely.
one because my sons and I actually play Zombicide Horde, Green Horde a fair bit. But we got all the bits and pieces. And there's actually some of the funky characters in it are from like Stranger Things, or you recognise Prince or Wonder Woman, and they've actually given them these different characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can see who they're meant to be. The key thing is having at least a couple of tanks, and then one of the players that can actually help move one of the other characters. So things you'll find a set that you go, that actually works pretty well in this scenario.
Feel free to Google it. Yeah. I mean, there'll be people that have the same issue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, but I get what you're saying.
Well, I actually had that with Hate the first time I played it, and I'm not sure. No, I think it was somebody else. Maybe I was talking to in the States. I was really struggling to grasp the concept, and it was one simple sentence which I forgot now that made it all click into place for me, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
I think again that's a fairly straightforward game, but I think the rule book's a little bit.
It's all over the joint.
It's all over the joint because you go. If you just realise, hang on, you move your 2 guys, then you do your combat.
That's it.
It's not apparent up front.
No.
You go, hang on, and I move combat.
And we had that issue when we were playing. Like there was a few rules that were just like, common sense.
Yeah.
And that always doesn't work well.
Common
in
sense
board
isn't
games.
that common.
So that's my question. So Greg to read.
Oh, okay, right. We probably should do it as two separate bits so it looks like I didn't just print them out on the computer this week. Anyway.
But you did.
Nick Pickle. I love that name. I think we mentioned Nick last week as well.
We love names. So if you're commenting and you got a weird... No.
Yeah.
No.
Not weird. That's probably Nick's
Mac
real...
Jacket. Nick Pickle.
Yeah.
Like,
and
good names.
Wait till you hear the next one. Rob.
Yeah, I saw that. Just Rob.
We love you, Rob.
Classic.
But also, if you wouldn't mind letting us know where you are
that's,
and where you're watching from, we'd love to know that. 'Cause it'd be
Yeah.
great to put you on our... We might have a little map of where our subscribers are.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What do you reckon?
That's not going to happen, but yeah.
I'll do it.
Like an interactive map on the website, maybe. That'd be good.
Okay, all right. All right, Nick Pickle. Welcome to the channel, Caleb.
So, yeah, he was on last episode's podcast. He's also been in... yesterday, so a week and a half ago now, whatever. He was in his first Dice Throne. That was probably one of my favorite episodes that we've done.
No, he did really well. He was a bit nervous for the first podcast, but it's like me. After a while, you just start talking crap, and
so
you keep going.
Welcome, Caleb. I'll pass that message on to him.
He'll be rapt to hear that. So Nick said he didn't think he's played a bad game. He has played Candyland, but he plays that with his kids, right? So
so it's a good experience.
And that's a very American game. I think you watch a sitcom and you'll see Candyland.
Candyland is not a thing in Australia at all.
Well, my niece had it.
Yeah, but
she was like 5, and you play, but she just wanted to play with the little bits and pieces.
So I don't think Mousetrap's much of a thing in Australia.
Mousetrap is a crap game.
Yeah, fair enough.
The only fun thing about Mousetrap is actually building the trap and triggering it. You tend to... It's a roll and move one game where you're just going round and round and round and round until you're building bits of the trap, and then whoever gets caught loses the game. So it's just...
Well, that's fair enough. Actually, I don't think I've answered the question. So before we... Is that comment finished?
That's from Nick Pickle. Yeah. Before we move on to Rob. So
am I doing... Is guest doing Rob?
No, this is Greg to read.
Oh, so you get two in a row. Ripped off.
No, I thought rather than move on.
So a game that I haven't liked playing... I haven't played all of these yet, so chances are there's a bad one in there somewhere. But actually, one of the games that I was really frustrated about was, and I love these guys, you probably don't know who they are, they're called Achievement Hunter, and they do video gaming stuff. They released a board game called Achievement Hunter Heist, and it's a cool looking game, and it's about sort of what they do in their GTA videos. Yeah. Trying to learn that thing, wow, was that the rules everywhere. I still haven't managed to play it. I watched their how-to video, but because they're entertainers, they weren't really explaining it, and I still haven't actually played it. So in terms of gaming experience, getting that one, reading through the rules, didn't really make any sense to me whatsoever. A bit disappointing, but I will learn. Trust me, I will. It is my goal.
Well, look, I guarantee Hellboy over here is going to be your jam, because I've watched just a couple of little playthroughs of different scenarios. Man, the theme is just dripping off it. Awesome. I love theme. I love theme in a game.
Theme is good. All right. Greg
Rob,
to read.
Great show again, guys. I wasn't a huge fan of Patchwork. So that's a little tile laying game. You get all these little tiles, and they sort of, you put them in a circle on the table, and this little pawn goes there, and you can sort of pick from the 2 or 3 after that. And then you're really just trying to lay them on a little board, and you'll see... buttons on the board, and as you cross buttons you get to collect more buttons, and that way you can pay for more tiles, and it's just kind of this...
Do you own that game?
I do own that game.
Is that in your pit of hell?
No, but that's like a Sunday morning cup of tea with the missus. Pull out something that's light strategy. It's more than playing Snap and things like that.
Okay,
right?
so it's one of those type of games, right.
So it's the only game that's left Rob's collection. It now resides at his mother-in-law's place.
Which they play a lot. I read that bit of the comment.
Yeah, where it gets lots of love.
Which is awesome, which is still great. Like, that's something that the game developer would still love to hear. Like,
of course.
How
much love does your mother-in-law get from you, Rob? We hear all these jokes about mothers-in-law. I'm not married, so I don't have a mother-in-law now.
No, fair enough. I'm soon to have one. She's a joy. All right.
Oh, you get to read the next one.
That's guest.
Yeah, it's from Matt Jacket, so it goes for about 15 minutes, I reckon. So
excellent.
Get on to that one.
So again, Matt Jacket becoming our number one fan, which we love. I've never had a fan before.
We want 10 number one fans.
We do. We want heaps of fans. All right.
Go for it.
So Matt Jacket 5 days ago said.
5 days ago.
Yeah.
Well,
so
now it's
a
actually
week and a
about
half.
12 days ago.
Yeah. So another great video, guys. Thank you. No worries, Caleb. You're definitely. I'll increase the word to its maximum size. Yeah. Definitely worthy of being a knight at the round table.
Well, I think that's for us to judge.
Yeah, I was just about to say the thing. No.
He's still a novice. I think we need to. Yeah, don't you have to go through the trials of fire or something?
Yeah, we've got to beat him up.
When you're a knight.
I also don't really have a game that I hate, but I'm completely done with Monopoly for sure, which is something I don't like hearing because I love Monopoly.
No, you can jam it. I mean,
I love it. It's the game that I played as a kid that taught me how to lose.
Correct.
Like no, lose with dignity, gracefully.
But it is just a roll and move.
No, there's a lot of strategy. There is.
You ask the world champion of that, of course.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of luck. You could keep missing the one you want to get.
Last time I played it was in Sri Lanka. Killed a few hours. It was a good game.
Okay.
All right. Question for you guys. How do you search for great games on Kickstarter? I try to scroll through the game section and apply some filters, but I almost never find something original and remarkable or remarkable. Is there a certain way of finding good games? Also, what makes a game good for you? And that's the question of the week. So thank you for that one. For me, it's scroll. Oh, that art looks good. Oh,
how many
only 100 backers. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I'll look into it. I'll have a quick look. Yeah. But if it's like 10 days left and they haven't met their goal or they just reached it, chances up. But then always the best games have a theme. So like Hellboy, the Batman game. There's a Ninja Turtles one as well. I think that got heaps of followers. Games like that are going to be well polished because not only are they, being made, but they've also got the backing of the actual
they'll
developer.
Be supported going forward as well.
Yeah. So you always know that anything with a theme, even if you like perfect Hellboy, even if you're not into Hellboy, it's like that game's going to be good. And then again, how much money it's raised. Always the games that are going to be good have a big following. I don't think there's many games on Kickstarter that get missed that were going to be perfect. I mean,
Look, there's definitely the ones that don't make it, and you can see the rubbish ones on there. Where they try. It's almost like they try too hard. They'll invest so much time on their video demo that you can just see the content's not quite there.
Yeah,
which is fine. But look, I definitely use Kickstarter. I'm a bit like Matt Jacket. There might be 10,000 game things on there at any one time, and as you're going through, you're going, no, that's rubbish. I will try and I generally wait for the emails that I'll get from the companies that I've backed in the past. So if I back something from, I don't want to keep saying the same companies, but like Awaken Realms or something like that, they'll send you an email going, oh, check this out. Here's our new thing, right? So you go and have a look, and it just looks amazing. You can see all the content, and they've actually planned out a proper campaign, right? It's not just, oh shit, what are we going to do for the next stretch goal? It's actually there.
It's a whole thing.
I see a lot of ads on BGG where they just pop up, and you go, again, like you, the first thing that attracts me is the art. So you go, oh, that's a cool little bit of artwork there. I'll click on that, and it'll take me into either that publisher's site or into Kickstarter.
That's a good thing as well. Like with Simon, I'm starting to build that relationship with them now because of Hate. Yep. Even though Hate wasn't the best game of all time and it had some flaws, it was still right up my alley in a game that I definitely want to delve into more and that I really enjoyed.
It's a hack and slash.
It was awesome. Really cool mechanics with the scars and stuff. So now I know going forward that they're probably a company I can trust. So stick with what you know.
Always, definitely. And I think
Rob had a handy hint.
Rob had a good answer for Matt, and I'm sure Matt's already doing this now. There is a geek list, which we can add as a link under this little video for you to go and have a squeeze out. But there are geek lists, but there is a particular one on Board Game Geek, 192002, if you want to look that one up. But we'll put a link to it.
We'll put a link.
But it shows you what's coming up on Kickstarter. Again, you've still got to trawl through it and have a look and go, well, what's that? Who's the publisher? What's the sort of stuff we want to have a look at? So that's the geek list. So thanks, Rob, for doing that, and that's great. We want to build this community, so the more you guys contribute to that, the easier it is for us to actually deliver content that you might want to see.
Yeah, and if you're if you use Board Game Geek, there's a suggestion on Board Game Geek that we start a guild. So if that's something you want to see us to do, I think it costs like 10 Board Game Geek Gold. You know, they have currency on that website.
I've got that.
So, yeah, we've already actually got that. Every time you post a video, you get one. So
I think look, you get a few if I sponsor Board Game Geek, so you always get a handful thrown at you as well. So
if you want to see us do a guild, let us know, and we'll definitely create one.
Once we Tinker wants one as well.
Come here.
Good on you, puppy.
All right. Last comment.
The last comment is from the Gradius. Now, I know this fella.
Okay. I was wondering what that comment was about.
Yeah, he said, "Where is your coaster, Greg?" So I tried to teach the Gradius to play Keyforge a couple of weeks ago, and he just stuck his drink on my good dining room table. And I said, "Mate, I gave you a coaster." So then it became this. It's a running gag now. It's like
so now
every time I don't use a coaster, even at work, it'll be like, "Where's your coaster?"
This table we plan to modify a little bit, possibly.
I think we should keep the original finish. I will make a new top for it.
And we'll just put it on top.
And we'll just stick it on top. I think it's going to look awesome.
It can't have any glare. It can't be
No, it'll be a matte jacket finish.
It'll be a matte finish.
A matte finish.
Yeah. Cool.
Excellent.
So that was a good episode. It's always fun recording.
Well, have we run out of time already? Wow.
Well, how long have we been going for? Even I can't see. We've been going for a while.
At least 45 minutes, I reckon.
No, about 35, 40.
Okay, right. I was wrong. Victor was right.
Please.
He's not competitive, though. Yeah,
I'm usually the director of these, so I can have a sense.
I'm going to drag it out to 45 minutes now, so I'm right.
So actually, speaking of Keyforge real quick.
Yes, mate.
I learned how to play, which means that there's going to be plenty of content coming soon.
Yeah, if you hate Keyforge, let us know now, because we'll have a round robin tournament that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we definitely plan to do that. We're in the middle of doing a dice throwing tournament, which I've only recorded one of, but the good thing is that I'm going to record them all, edit them all, and then release them once a week. So I don't need to rush. So we can actually start doing Keyforge.
Well, we've got Easter coming up, so we might be able to get a few games in over that period too.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook at TTK Team on Twitter and Tabletop Nights or The Tabletop Nights on Facebook. We plan to use both of those more. So that's one of the things about having a social media is you've got to actually bloody use it. Otherwise, why would people like that? So we might actually start doing polls on our Twitter. So if you want to get involved in some polls, we might start asking sort of questions that we ask on the podcast as well. So go follow us on Twitter at TTK Team. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Been a blast.
I love doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on as the guest.
Thanks for coming in, Victor, to your house.
Here's my house.
Yeah, so, it is his house, but that's okay.
Yep. All right. Well, you can outro.
But I did the intro. Look, we love your work. We love having you with us. Keep safe. Look after each other, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.